close your eyes and let your body sink deeper into comfort as we drift together through the most peaceful mysteries of the universe. Tonight, we're going to explore the cosmos in the gentlest way possible, discovering wonders that will calm your mind and carry you softly into the deepest sleep. There's something incredibly soothing about contemplating the vastness of space, the ancient stars, and the quiet mysteries that surround us. So breathe slowly, relax completely, and let these cosmic truths wash over you like stardust falling through infinite darkness. The universe is unimaginably vast, so vast that our minds can barely comprehend it. And there's something deeply calming about that. All your worries, all your concerns, all the things that felt so important today, they're happening on a small blue planet orbiting an average star in one galaxy among billions. This isn't meant to make you feel insignificant. It's meant to give you perspective, to help you see that you're part of something so much larger, so much more mysterious and beautiful than the small troubles of daily life. You're made of stardust. You're part of the cosmos, and the cosmos is infinite and patient and eternal. Let's begin with light. The light from stars takes time to reach us. Lots of time. When you look up at the night sky, you're not seeing the stars as they are now. You're seeing them as they were in the past. Some stars are so far away that their light has been traveling for thousands of years just to reach your eyes. When you look at certain stars, you're seeing light that began its journey before the pyramids were built, before written language existed, before human civilization as we know it began. You're looking back in time. The night sky is a time machine showing you the ancient past, preserved in light that's been traveling through space for longer than human history. And some of the stars you see might not even exist anymore. They might have already died, exploded, transformed into something else. But their light is still traveling toward us, carrying the image of what they once were. There's something hauntingly beautiful about this. Even after a star dies, its light continues, traveling through the universe, touching planets and moons, and eventually eyes that look up in wonder. Nothing is ever truly gone. Everything leaves light behind. The universe is expanding. Every galaxy is moving away from every other galaxy. Space itself is stretching, growing, becoming more vast with each passing moment. Scientists discovered this less than 100 years ago, and it changed everything we thought we knew about the cosmos. The universe had a beginning. It's been growing ever since, and it will continue growing for billions of years to come. You're living in an expanding universe, in a moment of cosmic time where galaxies are still relatively close together, where stars are still being born, where life has had a chance to emerge and wonder at it all. The expansion means that eventually, billions of years from now, the night sky will look very different. Galaxies will be so far apart that creatures looking up from Earth, if Earth still exists, will see only darkness. The other galaxies will have moved beyond the edge of what light can reach. Future civilizations might never know that other galaxies exist. They'll think their galaxy is the entire universe. It makes you appreciate this moment in cosmic time, when the universe is old enough to have created life, but young enough that we can still see its vastness and beauty. There's something called the cosmic microwave background. It's ancient light from the very early universe, from just after the Big Bang. This light has been traveling for over 13 billion years. It's everywhere, filling all of space, a faint glow that we can detect with special instruments. It's like the universe's baby picture, showing us what things looked like when the cosmos was young. This ancient light surrounds you right now. You're bathed in radiation from the beginning of time, from the moment when everything began. The universe's first light is still here, still traveling, still carrying information about where we all came from. Space is mostly empty. The distances between stars are so enormous that if you were traveling at the speed of light, the fastest speed possible, it would still take you years to reach the nearest star. The space between galaxies is even more vast, and yet this emptiness isn't really empty. It's filled with fields and forces, with dark matter and dark energy, with things we can't see but know are there because of how they affect what we can see. The universe is full of invisible mysteries, of things we're only beginning to understand. Dark matter is one of the deepest mysteries. Scientists know it exists because of how galaxies move and how gravity works on large scales. There's far more dark matter in the universe than regular matter. Everything you can see, every star and planet and cloud of gas, all of it makes up less than 5% of the universe. The rest is dark matter and dark energy, substances we can't detect directly, can't see or touch or measure except through their effects. You're surrounded by mystery. The universe is far stranger than it appears. And there's something wonderfully humbling about knowing that most of reality is still hidden from us, waiting to be discovered. Black holes are places where gravity is so strong that nothing can escape, not even light. They're formed when massive stars collapse at the end of their lives. At the center of almost every large galaxy, including our own Milky Way, there's a supermassive black hole, millions or billions of times heavier than our sun. These cosmic giants sit at the centers of galaxies, quietly pulling in matter, warping space and time around them. The black hole at the center of our galaxy is about 26,000 light years away. It's there right now, invisible but influential. helping to hold our galaxy together with its immense gravity. If you could somehow survive near a black hole, time itself would slow down for you compared to people far away. This isn't science fiction. It's real physics. Gravity warps time. Near a black hole, where gravity is incredibly strong, time moves differently. You could spend what feels like a few hours near a black hole, and when you left, centuries might have passed for the rest of the universe. Time is not constant. It bends and stretches like space does. The universe is far more fluid and strange than our everyday experience suggests. There are hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy, and there are hundreds of billions of galaxies in the observable universe. The numbers are so large, they lose meaning. Hundreds of billions times hundreds of billions. Each of those stars is a sun, potentially with planets orbiting it. Many of those planets might be capable of supporting life. The universe is likely teeming with life, with creatures looking up at their own night skies, wondering if they're alone. You're probably not alone in the universe. Somewhere out there, perhaps someone else is looking up at the stars, feeling the same sense of wonder, asking the same questions. The universe doesn't care about human timescales. Stars live for millions or billions of years. Galaxies evolve over billions of years. The universe itself is nearly 14 billion years old. Human civilization is just a few thousand years old. Your entire life is less than a second in cosmic time. And yet, you're here. You exist. You're conscious. You can look up at the stars and understand at least a little what you're seeing. You're the universe becoming aware of itself. Matter organized in such a way that it can think and feel and wonder. That's extraordinary. You're extraordinary, even if you're also temporary and small. Light has a speed limit. Nothing can go faster than light. This seems like it should be obvious, but it's actually deeply strange. No matter how fast you're going, light always moves at the same speed relative to you. If you're standing still and measure the speed of light, and then you get on a spaceship going half the speed of light and measure it again, light still moves at the same speed. This doesn't make intuitive sense, but it's how the universe works. And it means that space and time have to be flexible, have to adjust in order to keep the speed of light constant. Reality is far stranger than it appears. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all the beaches on Earth. Think about that for a moment. Every grain of sand on every beach, and there are more stars than that. The universe is incomprehensibly vast, and most of it is empty space, with stars and galaxies scattered like islands in an infinite ocean. You're on one of those islands, a planet circling one of those stars, looking out at the ocean and wondering what else is out there. Gravity is the weakest of all the fundamental forces, but it acts over infinite distances. A tiny magnet can overcome the gravitational pull of the entire Earth when it picks up a paperclip, and yet gravity is what shapes the universe on the largest scales. It pulls matter together to form stars and planets. It keeps planets in orbit around stars. It binds galaxies together. It bends light and slows time. Gravity is gentle but relentless, weak but unstoppable. It's the force that gives structure to the cosmos. The Earth is moving through space incredibly fast. You're sitting still right now, or lying down, but you're actually moving at tremendous speed. The Earth is spinning on its axis at about 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. It's orbiting the Sun at about 67,000 miles per hour. The Sun is orbiting the center of the Milky Way galaxy at about 500,000 miles per hour. And the Milky Way itself is moving through space at over 1,000,000 miles per hour. You're on the fastest ride in the universe, and you can't even feel it. Everything is moving, always moving, through the cosmic dance. There's a place in space called the cosmic void. These are enormous regions where there are almost no galaxies, vast empty spaces, millions of light years across. If you were somehow in the middle of a cosmic void, you might not be able to see any galaxies at all in any direction. Just darkness, just emptiness, just you. These voids exist because of how matter distributed itself in the early universe. Gravity pulled matter together in some places, leaving other places nearly empty. The universe has structure, patterns of fullness and emptiness that span the entire observable cosmos. Neutron stars are the densest objects in the universe besides black holes. They're formed when a massive star explodes in a supernova and its core collapses. A neutron star is only about 12 miles across, but it has more mass than our sun. A teaspoon of neutron star material would weigh about 1 billion tons on Earth. They spin incredibly fast, and they have magnetic fields trillions of times stronger than Earth's. These objects are so extreme, so far beyond everyday experience, that they seem almost impossible. But they're real. They exist. The universe creates things more extreme than we can imagine. Some neutron stars emit beams of radio waves from their magnetic poles. As they spin, these beams sweep through space like a lighthouse. If the beam points toward Earth, we detect a pulse of radio waves each time the star rotates. These are called pulsars. They're so regular, so precise in their timing, that when they were first discovered, scientists briefly wondered if they might be signals from alien civilizations. The universe has its own rhythm, its own heartbeat, marked by spinning stars, pulsing out radio waves into the darkness. The universe might be infinite. We don't know. We can only see a certain distance, limited by the age of the universe and the speed of light. Beyond that distance, light hasn't had time to reach us yet. So there's a horizon, an edge to what we can observe. But that doesn't mean the universe ends there. It might go on forever. Infinite space, infinite stars, infinite possibilities. Or it might curve back on itself, finite, but without an edge, like the surface of a sphere. We might never know. Some mysteries might be permanently beyond our ability to solve. There's something peaceful about not knowing. You don't have to understand everything. You don't have to have all the answers. The universe is vast and strange and full of mysteries, and that's okay. You can rest in the wonder of it all. You can let yourself be small and temporary and confused, and that's perfectly fine. The cosmos doesn't demand that you understand it. It just invites you to look, to wonder, to feel the awe of existence. Stars are born in clouds of gas and dust called nebulae. These clouds are huge, light years across, filled with hydrogen and helium, and traces of heavier elements. Gravity slowly pulls the gas together. As it compresses, it heats up. Eventually, it gets so hot and dense that nuclear fusion begins. Hydrogen atoms fuse together to form helium, releasing enormous amounts of energy. And a star is born. It begins to shine, to pour light out into the universe, to push back against gravity with the energy of fusion. A star is a balance between gravity trying to crush it and fusion trying to blow it apart. That balance can last for billions of years. Our sun is about halfway through its life. It's been shining for about 4.5 billion years. It has about another 5 billion years to go. Eventually, it will run out of hydrogen fuel in its core. It will begin fusing helium into heavier elements. It will swell up into a red giant, growing so large that it might engulf Earth. Then it will shed its outer layers into space, creating a beautiful planetary nebula. And the core will collapse into a white dwarf, a small, dense object that will slowly cool over trillions of years. The sun that gives you life, that warms your skin and lights your days, will someday transform into something completely different. But that's so far in the future that it's almost meaningless. For now, the sun is stable, steady, reliable. It rises every morning. It sets every evening. It's been doing this for billions of years and will continue for billions more. Every atom in your body, heavier than hydrogen, was created inside a star. The carbon in your cells, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, all of it was forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars. Those stars lived for millions or billions of years, then exploded in supernovas, scattering their atoms into space. Those atoms drifted through the galaxy, eventually becoming part of the cloud that formed our solar system. They became part of Earth. They became part of you. You're literally made of star material. You're stardust given form. Atoms that were once inside stars, now organized into something that can think and feel and wonder at the universe that created it. There's a beautiful continuity to this. Nothing is ever really created or destroyed, just transformed. The atoms in your body have existed since the early universe. They've been part of stars and planets and maybe other living things before you. After you're gone, those atoms will continue. They'll become part of the earth, part of other creatures, part of the endless recycling of matter that is the universe. You're a temporary pattern, a brief organization of atoms that will eventually dissolve back into the cosmos. And there's something strangely comforting about that. You're part of something eternal, even though you yourself are not. The universe has no center, or rather, every point is the center. When the Big Bang happened, it didn't happen at a point in space. It happened everywhere at once. Space itself was born in the Big Bang, and it's been expanding ever since. So every point in the universe can claim to be the center of the expansion. Everything is moving away from everything else. You're at the center of your observable universe, and so is everyone else, everywhere. The universe treats everyone equally. There's no privileged location, no special place. Wherever you are, that's the center. At least from your perspective, gravity wells are a way to visualize how gravity works. Imagine space as a stretched rubber sheet. If you put a heavy ball on the sheet, it creates a depression, a well. Other objects placed on the sheet will roll toward the depression. That's how gravity works. Massive objects curve space around them. Other objects follow the curves. Earth orbits the sun not because some force is pulling it, but because the sun curves space and Earth is following the straightest possible path through that curved space. You're not standing still on Earth's surface. You're constantly accelerating upward as the ground pushes against you, preventing you from following the curve of space-time that leads down to Earth's center. Gravity isn't a force pulling you down. It's the shape of space-time itself. Time had a beginning. Before the Big Bang, there was no time. Time itself was created, along with space and energy and matter. This is hard to think about. What does it mean for time to begin? What was there before? These questions might not even make sense. Before implies time, but there was no before if time itself didn't exist yet. The universe might simply be no cause, no prior state, just existence with time and space as part of what exists. Or maybe the Big Bang was the start of our universe, but not the start of everything. Maybe there are other universes. Maybe ours budded off from something else. Maybe the cosmos is eternal, even if our particular universe is not. We don't know, and that's okay. There are probably countless planets out there capable of supporting life. In our galaxy alone, there might be billions of Earth-like planets in what's called the habitable zone, the region around a star where liquid water can exist. Life needs water, or at least life as we know it does. And water is common in the universe. The conditions that led to life on Earth are probably not unique. They might be repeated over and over throughout the cosmos. Life might be everywhere, in forms we can imagine, in forms we can't. The universe might be full of consciousness, full of beings looking up at their skies and wondering, just like you. Your breathing is so calm now, so steady and slow. The universe stretches out around you, infinite and patient. You're floating in it, a small consciousness in a vast cosmos, and that's exactly where you're meant to be. The stars are shining, light years away, their light traveling through space to reach you. The galaxies are spinning in their slow cosmic dance. Black holes are quietly warping space-time. Somewhere, a star is being born. Somewhere else, one is dying. And through it all, you're here, breathing, resting, part of the endless mystery. Let your mind continue drifting through the peaceful vastness of space as we explore more gentle mysteries of the cosmos. Your body is relaxing deeper with each breath, and the universe is opening up before you like an infinite book of wonders. Just listen, just float, and let these cosmic truths carry you further into tranquility. The moon is slowly drifting away from Earth every year. It moves about 1.5 inches farther. This is happening because of tidal forces between Earth and the moon. The same tides that make our oceans rise and fall are gradually pushing the moon away from us. Billions of years ago, the moon was much closer. Days were shorter. The moon looked enormous in the sky. And billions of years from now, if humans or their descendants are still around, the moon will be smaller in the sky, farther away. Perhaps no longer able to create total solar eclipses. Everything is changing, always changing, on time scales so slow we can barely perceive them. The universe is patient. Change happens slowly, gently, inevitably. Total solar eclipses are a cosmic coincidence. The sun is about 400 times larger than the moon, but it's also about 400 times farther away. This means they appear almost exactly the same size in our sky. When the moon passes directly in front of the sun, it can block it completely, creating a total eclipse. This is extraordinarily unlikely. No other planet in our solar system has a moon that creates such perfect eclipses. It's a beautiful accident of orbital mechanics and scale. You live in a time and place where this wonder is possible. People can stand on Earth and watch the moon cover the sun, revealing the sun's corona, that ethereal halo of light that's normally invisible. It's one of the most beautiful sights in nature, and it only happens because of an amazing coincidence of size and distance. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is on a collision course with another galaxy called Andromeda. They're moving toward each other at about 250,000 miles per hour. In about 4 billion years, they'll collide. When two galaxies collide, the stars don't actually hit each other. Space is so vast, the distances between stars so enormous that the stars just pass by each other. But the galaxies will merge, their shapes distorting, their spiral arms stretching and tangling. Eventually, they'll become one large elliptical galaxy. Our night sky will be completely different. If Earth and humanity still exist, people will look up and see a sky filled with stars from two merged galaxies. The collision is so far in the future that it feels almost like a dream. And yet, it's coming, inevitable, a slow-motion cosmic dance that's already begun. There are planets made of diamond. Some planets are composed largely of carbon. Under the extreme pressures inside these planets, carbon crystallizes into diamond. Entire planets made of gemstone, glittering in the light of their stars. There are planets where it rains glass, blown sideways by winds, thousands of miles per hour. There are planets so hot that metals vaporize on the surface. There are frozen worlds where the atmosphere has collapsed into ice on the ground. The universe is endlessly creative, producing worlds more strange and varied than any science fiction writer could imagine. Every new planet we discover teaches us that the cosmos is far more diverse than we thought. Jupiter is like a miniature solar system of its own. It has dozens of moons, including 4 large ones discovered by Galileo over 400 years ago. These moons are worlds unto themselves. Europa has an ocean of liquid water beneath its icy crust, kept warm by tidal forces from Jupiter's gravity. This ocean might harbor life, strange creatures swimming in perpetual darkness beneath miles of ice. Io is the most volcanically active body in the solar system, its surface constantly being reshaped by eruptions. Ganymede is the largest moon in the solar system, bigger than the planet Mercury. Callisto is ancient and heavily cratered, a museum of the early solar system. These moons circle Jupiter in a dance that's been going on for billions of years. You live in a solar system full of worlds, each one unique, each one mysterious. Saturn's rings are temporary. They're made of countless chunks of ice and rock, some as small as grains of sand, others as large as mountains. But they're slowly falling into Saturn, pulled down by gravity. In about 100 million years, the rings will be gone. Saturn will be just another planet, ringless like most others. Right now, in this brief cosmic moment, Saturn has rings, and they're beautiful. You live in the era of Saturn's rings. You can look through a telescope and see them, bright and distinct. One of the most stunning sights in the solar system. Appreciate this moment. Everything is temporary, even on cosmic scales. The great red spot on Jupiter is a storm that's been raging for at least 300 years, possibly much longer. It's larger than Earth. Winds swirl around it at hundreds of miles per hour, and it just continues year after year, century after century, a permanent hurricane on a giant planet. We don't fully understand why it lasts so long. Jupiter's atmosphere is so different from Earth's. The physics so complex that the great red spot remains partially mysterious, even after centuries of observation. The universe is full of phenomena we can see but don't fully understand. And that's part of the beauty. There's always more to learn, always deeper mysteries waiting. Venus is the hottest planet in our solar system. Even though Mercury is closer to the Sun, Venus has a thick atmosphere made mostly of carbon dioxide. This creates a runaway greenhouse effect. Heat from the Sun gets trapped, raising the surface temperature to about 900 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. The atmospheric pressure at the surface is about 90 times that of Earth, like being a kilometer underwater. And the clouds are made of sulfuric acid. Venus is a vision of hell, a planet that reminds us how precious Earth is. Our atmosphere is just right. Our distance from the Sun is perfect. We have liquid water and moderate temperatures. Earth is a paradise compared to Venus, even with all of Earth's harsh environments. We live on a gentle world, and it's easy to forget how rare that might be. Mars once had liquid water on its surface. We found evidence of ancient rivers and lakes, possibly even an ocean. The planet was warmer and wetter billions of years ago. Then something changed. Mars lost most of its atmosphere. Without atmospheric pressure, liquid water can't exist on the surface. The planet cooled. The water either froze into the ground or escaped into space. Mars became the cold, dry desert world we see today. But that water is still there, frozen in the polar ice caps, locked in the soil. And where there was water, there might have been life. We're searching for fossils on Mars, looking for evidence that life once existed there. If we find it, it will change everything. We'll know that life has arisen at least twice in our solar system, which suggests it might be common throughout the universe. We might not be alone. We might never have been alone. Asterisk, there's a spacecraft called Voyager, one that's traveling through interstellar space right now. It was launched in 1977, over 45 years ago. It visited Jupiter and Saturn, sending back the first close-up images of those giant planets and their moons. Then it continued outward beyond the orbit of Pluto, beyond the edge of the solar system, into the space between the stars. It's still transmitting data back to Earth, though the signal is incredibly faint. Eventually, its power source will run out. It will go silent, but it will continue traveling through space for millions of years. Attached to it is a golden record, a compilation of sounds and images from Earth. A message to any alien civilization that might find it. It's a time capsule, a greeting from humanity to the cosmos, and it will outlast our civilization, outlast perhaps even our species. Drifting through the galaxy long after we're gone, the universe is slowly running down. Stars are using up their fuel. The universe is expanding and cooling. Eventually, in the unimaginably distant future, all the stars will burn out. Galaxies will go dark. Matter itself might slowly decay. The universe will become cold and empty, with nothing but black holes evaporating into radiation. This is called heat death, the final state of maximum entropy. But this is so far in the future, trillions upon trillions of years, that it's almost meaningless. Right now, the universe is bright. Stars are shining. Galaxies are full of light. Life exists. Consciousness exists. The universe is young enough that interesting things are still happening. You're here in the golden age of the cosmos, when stars are abundant and life is possible. Appreciate this moment. It won't last forever, but it's lasting now. Black holes eventually evaporate. This seems impossible. How can something that traps everything, even light, ever disappear? But physicist Stephen Hawking discovered that black holes slowly lose mass through a process now called Hawking radiation. They emit tiny amounts of energy, so small it's almost undetectable, but over enormous spans of time, they shrink. Eventually, they vanish in a final burst of radiation. Even black holes are temporary. Even the most permanent seeming things eventually change, eventually end. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is part of the great cycle of creation and destruction that defines the universe. There might be parallel universes. This sounds like science fiction, but it's a serious idea in physics. Some theories suggest that our universe might be just one of many, perhaps infinitely many. These universes might have different physical laws, different constants, different properties. Some might be lifeless. Some might be unimaginably different from ours, and some might be very similar with their own versions of Earth and humanity. We have no way to detect these other universes if they exist. They'd be completely separate from ours, impossible to reach or communicate with. But the math of certain theories suggests they might be real. The cosmos might be far larger and stranger than even our wildest imaginings. You might be one version of yourself among infinite versions, each living slightly different lives in different universes. It's a dizzying thought, but also strangely comforting. Every possibility might be realized somewhere. Time might not flow the way we think it does. We experience time as moving from past to future, but the equations of physics don't distinguish between past and future. Time is just another dimension, like space. Some physicists think past, present, and future all exist simultaneously, laid out like a landscape that we're moving through. Others think time might be an illusion, a product of consciousness, rather than a fundamental feature of reality. We don't really understand time. We experience it every moment, but we can't explain what it actually is. And there's something beautiful about that mystery. Time carries you forward. You can't go back. You can only move into the future, one moment after another. But what time actually is, why it flows in one direction, why we remember the past but not the future. These are some of the deepest mysteries in all of physics. The cosmic web is the largest structure in the universe. Galaxies aren't randomly distributed through space. They're organized into long filaments and sheets with enormous voids between them. If you could zoom out far enough to see billions of light years at once, the universe would look like a vast three-dimensional web with galaxies like dewdrops on the strands. This structure formed in the early universe, shaped by dark matter and gravity over billions of years. It's the architecture of the cosmos, the framework on which everything else hangs. You're part of this web, connected through space and time to everything else that exists. Light from the most distant galaxies has been stretched by the expansion of the universe. This is called redshift. When astronomers look at distant galaxies, they see their light shifted toward the red end of the spectrum. The farther away a galaxy is, the more its light is redshifted. This tells us that the universe is expanding. It also means we can use redshift to measure cosmic distances. The most distant galaxies we can see have such extreme redshift that their visible light has been stretched all the way into the infrared. We're seeing these galaxies as they were over 13 billion years ago, less than a billion years after the Big Bang. We're looking almost all the way back to the beginning of time. The James Webb Space Telescope is showing us the early universe in unprecedented detail. It's detecting galaxies so distant that their light has been traveling for over 13 billion years. These are some of the first galaxies formed when the universe was young, and they're not quite what we expected. Some are more massive than we thought possible for such early times. Some have surprising shapes and properties. Every new discovery raises new questions. The universe was different in its youth, and we're only beginning to understand how galaxies formed, how stars first ignited, how the cosmos evolved from the smooth, simple state after the Big Bang into the complex, structured universe we see today. Supermassive black holes grow by consuming matter. They sit at the centers of galaxies, pulling in gas and dust and even entire stars. When matter falls into a black hole, it forms an accretion disk, a swirling spiral of material that heats up to millions of degrees. This disk shines incredibly brightly. In fact, the areas around supermassive black holes are some of the brightest objects in the universe, even though the black holes themselves are dark. We call these quasars. They're so bright they can outshine their entire host galaxy. Light from distant quasars has been traveling for billions of years. We see them as they were in the distant past, when the universe was young and supermassive black holes were still growing rapidly. There are rogue planets wandering through the galaxy, not orbiting any star. These planets were ejected from their solar systems, flung out by gravitational interactions with other planets. Now they drift through interstellar space, cold and dark, illuminated by no sun. Some estimates suggest there might be billions of rogue planets in our galaxy, perhaps even more rogue planets than stars. They're nearly impossible to detect because they don't emit light and they're not near any star that would illuminate them. But they're out there, wandering in the darkness between the stars. Orphaned worlds following their own lonely paths through the cosmos. Gravitational waves are ripples in space-time itself. When massive objects like black holes or neutron stars orbit each other and eventually collide, they create waves that spread out through space at the speed of light. These waves stretch and squeeze space as they pass. They're incredibly faint by the time they reach Earth, but we've built detectors sensitive enough to measure them. When we detect gravitational waves, we're feeling the vibrations of space-time itself. Echoes of cosmic collisions billions of light years away. We're not just seeing the universe anymore. We're listening to it, hearing the sounds of black holes merging, of neutron stars colliding, of massive objects warping the very fabric of reality. The universe might be flat. This doesn't mean it's two-dimensional. It means that on the largest scales, space has zero curvature. Parallel lines stay parallel forever. The angles in a triangle add up to exactly 180 degrees. This is called flat geometry, as opposed to curved geometries where space bends. If the universe has too much matter and energy, it would curve in on itself like the surface of a sphere. If it has too little, it would curve the other way, like a saddle. But measurements suggest we're right on the borderline. The universe appears to be flat, or very close to it. This is puzzling because there's no obvious reason why the universe should be so precisely balanced. It's another cosmic coincidence. Another mystery that suggests the universe is carefully tuned in ways we don't fully understand. Cosmic inflation is a theory that the universe expanded incredibly rapidly in the first tiny fraction of a second after the Big Bang, in less than a trillionth of a trillionth of a second. The universe grew from smaller than an atom to macroscopic size. This rapid expansion explains several puzzles about the universe, like why it's so uniform in all directions and why it's so flat. Inflation is still theoretical, but it's supported by many observations. If it's true, it means the observable universe is just a tiny bubble in a vastly larger cosmos. Everything we can see, all the billions of galaxies, all came from a region smaller than a single atom that inflated to enormous size in an instant. The universe started incredibly small and incredibly simple, then grew and complexified into everything we see today. Asterisk, your place in the universe is both infinitesimally small and profoundly important. You're made of atoms forged in stars. You're conscious, able to contemplate your own existence. You're part of the universe's way of knowing itself. Without consciousness, the cosmos would just exist, with no one to observe it, no one to wonder at it, no one to ask questions or seek answers. You give the universe meaning just by being aware of it. So yes, you're small. Yes, you're temporary. But you're also miraculous. You're the universe experiencing itself, and that's extraordinary. Let your breathing deepen now. Let the vast cosmos hold you gently. You're floating through space on your small planet, and that's exactly where you belong. The stars are shining for you. The galaxies are spinning in their slow dance, and you're here, part of it all, resting peacefully under an infinite sky. Let yourself drift into the deepest part of our cosmic journey now, where the mysteries become softer, quieter, more like whispers from the universe itself. Your body is completely at peace, your mind floating in the vast darkness of space, and sleep is wrapping around you like the gentle pull of gravity. These final cosmic truths will carry you all the way into dreams. The universe is mostly empty space, but that emptiness is full of potential. Quantum mechanics tells us that even in a vacuum of space, particles are constantly appearing and disappearing, popping into existence for the briefest moments before vanishing again. The vacuum isn't truly empty. It's seething with activity at the quantum level. A constant dance of creation and destruction happening everywhere, all the time. Even nothing is something. Even emptiness is full. The universe is far more active and alive than it appears. We're all connected through space and time. Every atom in your body was once part of a star. Those atoms have been recycled through the universe countless times. They might have been part of other planets, other creatures, other worlds. The carbon in your cells might once have been in a dinosaur, or a tree, or dissolved in an ancient ocean. The iron in your blood was forged in a supernova explosion billions of years ago. You're ancient. You're made of recycled stardust. And when you're gone, those atoms will continue becoming part of other things, other creatures, other stories. You're temporarily organized matter, but the matter itself is eternal. There are more possible arrangements of atoms than there are atoms in the universe. This means that reality is just one possibility among infinite others. The specific arrangement of atoms that makes you is unique, temporary, and precious. But those atoms could be arranged in countless other ways, creating different structures, different beings, different worlds. You're one possibility that became real, one configuration that emerged from infinite potential. And that makes you special. You're not inevitable. You're miraculous. The concept of now is more complicated than it seems. According to relativity, there's no universal now. Events that are simultaneous for you might happen at different times for someone moving relative to you. Time is relative, depending on motion and gravity. This means the universe doesn't have a single present moment. Different observers experience different presents. Your now is not the same as a now on a distant planet. Time is local, personal, relative. The universe doesn't have one timeline. It has countless timelines, all layered together in space-time. Some scientists think the universe might be a hologram, not in the sense that it's fake, but in the sense that all the information about what's happening in a volume of space might be encoded on the surface surrounding that volume, like a hologram that looks three-dimensional but is actually encoded on a two-dimensional surface. This is a deep theoretical idea in physics, suggesting that space itself might have fewer dimensions than it appears. We might be living in a projection, a three-dimensional image created from information on a two-dimensional surface. It's a strange idea, but it's taken seriously by physicists working on quantum gravity. Dark energy is the biggest mystery in cosmology. About 70% of the universe is made of this mysterious substance. We call it energy, but we don't really know what it is. We only know what it does. It causes the expansion of the universe to accelerate. Galaxies are moving apart faster and faster, pushed by dark energy. This acceleration was only discovered in the late 1990s, and it completely surprised astronomers. They expected the expansion to be slowing down due to gravity. Instead, it's speeding up. Dark energy is winning the cosmic battle against gravity, and we have no idea what it is. It's the universe's biggest secret, a force that dominates the cosmos, but remains completely mysterious. The universe might have more dimensions than we can perceive. We experience 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. But some theories in physics suggest there might be additional dimensions curled up so small we can't detect them. These extra dimensions might influence how particles behave at the quantum level. They might be necessary to unify all the forces of nature into one coherent theory. We can't see these dimensions or experience them directly, but they might be there, invisible aspects of reality that shape everything without revealing themselves. The universe might be far more complex than what we can perceive with our senses. Consciousness is perhaps the deepest mystery of all. We don't understand how matter becomes aware. How do atoms and molecules, following the laws of physics, give rise to subjective experience? How does the universe become conscious of itself? Scientists can study the brain, can map which areas are active during different experiences. But we still can't explain how physical processes create the feeling of being someone, of experiencing the world. You're conscious right now. You're aware. You exist. And we don't know how or why that's possible. It's the most immediate mystery, the one you're experiencing in every moment. Some philosophers think consciousness might be fundamental to the universe, not something that emerges from complexity, but something that's always been there, woven into the fabric of reality itself. Maybe every particle has a tiny bit of consciousness, and complex consciousness, like ours, emerges when many particles work together. This is called panpsychism, and while it sounds strange, it's an ancient idea that some modern thinkers take seriously. The universe might be conscious in ways we don't understand. Matter might not be dead and inert, but alive with awareness at every level. You are the universe looking at itself. All of human science, all of our discoveries and theories, they're the universe figuring out how it works. When you look at the stars and feel wonder, that's the cosmos feeling wonder about itself. You're not separate from the universe. You're a part of it. A very small part, yes, but a part nonetheless. And in this moment, you're the way the universe experiences rest, peace, the gentle drift toward sleep. The cosmos is sleeping through you. The universe doesn't care about you, but it also doesn't not care. The universe isn't conscious in the way you are. It doesn't have intentions or feelings. It just is. The laws of physics operate the same everywhere, treating everything equally without preference or judgment. There's something peaceful about this. You're not being tested. You're not being judged by the cosmos. You're simply here, part of the natural unfolding of reality. You can let go of the need to be significant on a cosmic scale. You're already part of something infinite. That's enough. The oldest light we can see is the cosmic microwave background, radiation from just after the Big Bang. This light has been traveling for over 13 billion years. It's cooled and stretched by the expansion of the universe. So it's now in the microwave part of the spectrum, invisible to our eyes, but detectable by instruments. This light fills all of space. It's the same in every direction, showing us that the early universe was incredibly smooth and uniform. Tiny variations in this background radiation, fluctuations of just one part in 100,000, were the seeds that grew into galaxies and stars, and eventually us. Everything started from almost perfect uniformity, with tiny ripples that grew over billions of years into the complex structures we see today. Asterisk, the end of the universe is uncertain. Will expansion continue forever, with galaxies moving farther apart until they're isolated in darkness? Will dark energy increase, eventually tearing apart galaxies, stars, planets, and even atoms in a big rip? Will the universe stop expanding and collapse back on itself in a big crunch? Or will something else happen that we can't predict? We don't know. The fate of the cosmos depends on the nature of dark energy, which we don't understand. The universe is writing its own story, and we're only partway through. The ending hasn't been written yet, but that ending is so far in the future that it doesn't matter for you. For humanity, for Earth, the universe has billions of years ahead, where stars will shine, planets will orbit, life will exist. You're living in the golden age of the cosmos, when everything is possible, when the universe is alive with light and structure and complexity. Appreciate this moment. You're here during the most interesting chapter of cosmic history. There's a concept in physics called the arrow of time. Entropy, disorder, increases over time. Eggs break, but don't unbreak. Heat flows from hot to cold, never the reverse. Memory works in only one direction. We remember the past, but not the future. This gives time a direction, an arrow pointing from past to future. But in the fundamental laws of physics, there's no arrow. Time can run forward or backward, and the equations work the same. The arrow of time emerges somehow from the collective behavior of countless particles. It's a mystery why time has a direction, why the future is different from the past. And yet, you experience this arrow in every moment. You're moving forward through time, unable to go back, carried along by the current of entropy. The universe is teaching us humility. Every time we think we understand, we discover something new that shows how much we don't know. We thought Earth was the center of everything. Then we learned it's just one planet among many. We thought the sun was the center. Then we learned it's one star among billions. We thought the Milky Way was the entire universe. Then we discovered billions of other galaxies. We thought the expansion of the universe was slowing down. Then we discovered it's accelerating. Every discovery reveals new mysteries. The more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. And that's beautiful. There's always more to discover, always deeper questions to ask. Your ancestors looked up at the same stars you see. The constellations were the same thousands of years ago. Ancient humans saw Orion, the Big Dipper, the patterns of stars that we still recognize today. They wondered about those lights in the sky, just like you do. They told stories about them, created myths to explain them. Those stories were wrong in their details, but right in their spirit. The stars are important. They're connected to us. We come from them. Looking at the night sky creates a connection across time, linking you to every human who has ever looked up and wondered. The universe is patient. It operates on timescales that make human lifespans insignificant. Stars take millions of years to form. Galaxies take billions of years to evolve. The universe itself is nearly 14 billion years old and will continue for trillions of years more. In the face of such vastness, your worries seem small, and that's okay. You don't have to carry the weight of cosmic significance. You can just be. You can just exist. You can rest and sleep and dream, and the universe will continue its slow, majestic unfolding without needing anything from you. There's something called the anthropic principle, which observes that the universe's laws seem finely tuned for life. If gravity were slightly stronger or weaker, stars couldn't form. If the electromagnetic force were different, atoms couldn't bond into molecules. If any of dozens of physical constants were even slightly different, the universe would be lifeless. Some people think this means the universe was designed for us. Others think it means there are countless universes with different laws, and we naturally find ourselves in one where life is possible. Either way, you're here in a universe that allows your existence. That's remarkable. The cosmos is capable of producing conscious beings who can contemplate it. You're using the universe's most complex structure to think these thoughts. Your brain has about 86 billion neurons, each connected to thousands of others. The number of possible connections in your brain exceeds the number of atoms in the universe. Your mind is the most complex thing we know of. And it emerged from the universe, from atoms following physical laws, from evolution selecting for better and better information processing. Your matter that became conscious, your stardust that learned to think. And right now, you're using that incredible structure to relax, to rest, to prepare for sleep. That's a perfectly good use of the universe's most complex creation. Everything is vibration. Atoms vibrate. Molecules vibrate. Sound is vibration traveling through air. Light is electromagnetic waves vibrating. Even empty space might vibrate with quantum fields. The universe is made of rhythms, oscillations, waves moving through existence. And you're part of that rhythm. Your heartbeat is a rhythm. Your breathing is a rhythm. Your brain waves have rhythms. You're a symphony of oscillations in tune with the cosmic dance. Sleep is approaching now, soft and inevitable. Your consciousness is fading gently, like a star dimming at the edge of perception. The universe is cradling you, all of space-time folding around you like a blanket. You're safe in the cosmos, your home. Wherever you are, that's the center of your universe. You belong here. You're exactly where you should be. The stars are still shining, even though you can't see them right now. The galaxies are still spinning. Black holes are still warping space-time. The expansion continues. The universe goes on, eternal and patient. And within all that vastness, you're here, breathing softly, resting peacefully, preparing to dream. Let your mind dissolve into the cosmic background. Let your thoughts fade like ancient starlight stretched thin by the expansion of space. You're becoming part of the universe's sleep, part of the quiet darkness between the stars. There's no need to think anymore. No need to wonder or question. Just rest, just float, just be. The cosmos has been here for billions of years and will be here for billions more. Right now, in this moment, it's holding you. You're a small part of something infinite, and that's exactly what you need to be. Small enough to rest, small enough to let go, small enough to sleep without worry. The universe will watch over you while you dream. Your breathing is almost imperceptible now, like the faint whisper of solar wind across the surface of a distant moon. Your body is still, your mind quiet. You're drifting through the darkness between stars, peaceful and safe and utterly calm. Sleep is here now, all around you, ready to take you completely. Surrender to it. Let the cosmos have you. Fall into the gentle gravity of dreams. The universe wants you to rest. You've done enough. You've existed. You've wondered. You've been part of the great mystery. Now you can sleep. The darkness is warm and soft. The silence is complete. and you're sinking down through layers of consciousness, down through the atmosphere of waking thought, down into the peaceful void where nothing exists except rest and renewal. Everything is quiet now. Everything is still. The stars have dimmed. The galaxies have faded. There's only darkness, only peace, only the infinite gentleness of sleep pulling you down, 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 down into the deepest rest. You are stardust, returning to the cosmic night. You are consciousness, dissolving back into the universe. You are here and nowhere and everywhere, all at once. You are sleeping. You are dreaming. You are at peace. The mysteries remain, but you don't need to solve them tonight. The universe will keep its secrets while you rest. And when you wake, if you choose to wake, the stars will still be there, waiting, eternal and patient and beautiful. But for now, just sleep, just rest, just let everything go. Good night, child of the cosmos. Sleep deeply, peacefully, completely. You're safe in the arms of infinity. You're home in the heart of the universe. Dream well, star traveler. Dream of light years and nebulae, of worlds yet undiscovered, of the endless beauty that surrounds us all. Or dream of nothing, just peaceful darkness. Just rest. The universe loves you in its own way, by giving you existence, by making you possible, by holding you in this moment. Sleep now, and let that love carry you through the night, through the darkness, into the gentle morning that will come. Everything is well. Everything is as it should be. You are exactly where you belong. Good night. Good night. Good night.